Hi, and welcome back to this last segment of Focal Point AFR Talk. 888-589-8840 is the number to call, 888-589-8840. Don't forget, if AFR Talk, Focal Point, or any of our other AFR Talk programs have meant something to you, give us a call and share your story with us. We may be able to use it during Share-a-thon, which is coming up April 8 through 10. Number to call to share your story if you've benefited from what you've heard here on Focal Point, if we've helped you to grow as a Christian, if we've motivated you to become engaged in the culture war in some way. Call this number, 877-876-8893, and share your story with us. 877-876-8893 is the number to call. I don't know if you saw this, but the White House has an executive pastry chef, or had, by the name of Bill Yassis. Now, Bill Yassis was hired by Laura Bush in 2007. He's a homosexual. He's in a homosexual, quote, marriage, end quote. It's not a real marriage. It's a counterfeit marriage. But he's in one of those. And he's been working there in the White House since 2007. Well, Michelle Obama has driven him into retirement because she didn't want him making these pastries anymore. He was known for his cookie plates, his sugar sculptures. When Michelle took over 2009, she ordered him to make healthier plates in smaller portions. So he started replacing butter with fruit puree and sugar with honey and agave, or agave, or agave. I don't know how to say that. Agave, and I've obviously have no idea what that is. I've never had it. But he was replacing sugar with these other sweeteners. He was never fully committed to the new policy. He said, quote, "I don't want to demonize cream, butter, sugar, and eggs." So he has resigned. He has retired. He's quit. Michelle Obama discriminating against a homosexual pastry chef who would have thought, he said, it was a bitter, sweet decision. 888-589-8840. I think I mentioned this. We'll go to the phones here in just a second. Obamacare premiums are going to skyrocket. Remember, we talked about the fact they've gone up more in 1 year than the previous 8 years combined, and it's getting ready to get worse. According to the Hill.com, health industry officials say Obamacare-related premiums, now notice this is just premiums, not talking about other out-of-pocket expenses, co-pays and deductibles, just the premiums will double, even triple in some parts of the country. The expected rate hikes will be announced in the coming months, right in the middle of this election season. So you're going to have a lot of voters. They're going to get sticker shock because these insurance companies, they have to report the increases in their insurance rates to their state health insurance commissioners this spring. They've got to do it this spring. They've got a statutory obligation to tell their state health insurance commissioners how much they're going to need to raise their insurance premiums. And so these insurance commissioners, some of these people are Democrats, and I'm thinking you're going to have some real tug of wars. Some of these insurance companies are going to get turned down by Democrat insurance commissioners. Some of them have the authority just simply to deny rate increases. These health insurance companies say, look, we got to have these to stay in business or we're going to go under. And the Democrat insurance commissioners are going to say, no, if I give you your rate increase, that's going to be lethal in November, denied. And other places where they are going to have some ability to have regard for what insurance companies need to stay in business, they are going to go ahead and grant those increases. So the sticker shock is just going to be just be staggering. One insurance official who hails from a populous swing state said his company expects to triple its insurance next year under Obamacare. We've talked about this before, but grave concern about the number of cancer centers that are not under anybody's plan. Associated Press, some of America's best cancer hospitals are off limits to many of the people now signing up for coverage under the nation's new health care program. So these were insurance hospitals that were available to people before Obamacare. Now they are not. An Associated Press survey found examples coast to coast. Seattle Cancer Care Alliance excluded by 5 of the 8 insurers in Washington's insurance exchange. MD Anderson Cancer Center, one of the best in the world. I've got personal friends whose lives have been saved because MD Anderson Cancer Center was covered under their insurance policy. MD Anderson Cancer Center says it's in less than half of the plans in the Houston area. Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York is another one of the major ones. Only 2 of the 9 insurers in New York City are included in their coverage. In all, only 4 of 19 nationally recognized comprehensive cancer centers that responded to AP survey said patients have access through all the insurance companies in their state exchanges. Let's grab a couple of phone calls. Let's go to Jerry, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Jerry, Grand Rapids, Michigan, what's on your mind?
Hey, Brian. Hey, I actually called in when you were talking about the global warming stuff.
Yes, sir.
And you're kind of bouncing here. So
that's all right.
Hey, I just topic I haven't heard you touch on that I became aware of a few years ago, and I've been watching it ever since, is the government weather modification system, program that they're doing. It's kind of a black op.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure you remember back when Reagan was president, the Star Wars SDI.
Yeah.
That was the roots of this program, and that kind of went by the wayside. But the technology that they're using came from that. And you start watching the skies on a regular basis, you'll notice a lot of haze up in the sky and lines and just constant haze. And because what's happening is that they're actually spraying through tanker planes up there. Boeing patented these planes, and this allows them to use that HARP, for example, the HARP program in Alaska.
Now, what are they spraying? You're starting to lose me here, Jerry. What are they spraying into the atmosphere?
Well, it's not good. Basically,
now, I mean, Jerry, this sounds pretty black helicopterish to me, because I haven't seen that haze myself.
Well,
so this sounds a little speculative to me.
Most people don't walk around looking up at the sky until you become aware of this. I live in Michigan, and this was a few years back now. I came out of my house one day, and the entire sky over my house was gridded, literally gridded. And
you mean there was grit in the air?
No, grids, a grid.
Oh, squares. Now tell me, why would again, I'm having a hard time going with you on this one. I want to hear you out. Why would the government do this?
Well, it's multifaceted. Through digging, through digging into this, I found out that the name of this is called Operation Cloverleaf. Okay, it's a black op. They don't want us to know about it. The government denies they're doing it. But all you got to do is start watching the skies for about a month. And like here in Michigan, I've been watching this for 3 years. We have not had a 24-hour period of clear skies.
All right, Jerry, well, listen, again, I'm pretty skeptical, but maybe I'll keep an eye on the skies for the next 30 days and see what I notice. All right, thank you, Jerry, for your call up there, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Let's go to LaRose in Glen Allen, Virginia. LaRose, what's on your mind?
Yes. I'm Black African-American, and I'm disabled, and I receive Medicare, and I wanted to switch to try out Obamacare to see whether I would save money under it. And I tried to enroll in that plan. I found out that it would cost me more to sign up for Obamacare than to keep Medicare.
So it wouldn't actually save you any money at all?
No, it would not save me any money at all.
All right, well, and your story, you're not alone in that, LaRose, and what we're discovering everywhere is that people's insurance premiums are going up. We're hearing stories just today where, and these are people that are going to buy, these are insurance policies that are going to be made available through the exchange, where you were going, LaRose, to try to get cheaper insurance. And we're being told by this McKinley outfit, one of the leading kind of researchers, surveyors in this field, that premiums are going to double or triple in some parts of the country starting this spring. And so that's going to be a fascinating dynamic, because they're going to have to request these huge insurance jumps in premiums just to stay afloat. And the primary driver of this increased cost is all of these mandated coverages that you have in Obamacare, people having to pay for coverage for treatments they would never, ever use. 65-year-old people paying for maternity care, 65-year-old people paying for pediatric dental and pediatric vision. So it's just Humpty Dumpty care. It's a Rube Goldberg machine, can't possibly work. All right, LaRose, thank you for sharing your personal story with us. And this is such a catastrophe. Let's grab, if we can, clip number 4. Rob, let's run this one in. We got just time to squeeze this one in. Manu Raju with Politico, their congressional correspondent, talking about Democrats wanting to get as far away from Obama as they can.
Putin's not listening. It really speaks to the president's weakness at home and abroad.
And that speaks, I mean, obviously that echoes up here, too. And by the way, we saw Mitt Romney this week in the Wall Street Journal take a victory lap saying, basically, I was right, you were wrong, whatever. But you're the president, but you really can't do anything. Here on Capitol Hill, we've seen some of his nominations stalled up. Things as easy as the Surgeon General.
Yeah, Surgeon General should be a slam dunk nomination. But this is becoming a done deal. This is not going to happen because of opposition from Democrats. His own party is rebelling against this nomination. Red state Democrats don't want to walk the plank for this president. It's a sign of his weakness with his own party and his liability in some of those key Senate races this year.
That's pretty stunning to think about it, that this is not Republicans who have held it up. His officials, Democratic officials, won't even admit that health care played a role in a huge embarrassing loss in Florida last week. Not a good situation for Obama.
Well, the problem for it is that Obamacare is what's driving Republican voters out to the polls. Democrats need something to excite their party over heading into 2014.
So I was saying, look, Democrats don't want to walk the plank for Obama, so they're not inclined to go out there and hack and flack for Obamacare. So that's a failure, even by Democratic admission. Putin is not paying any attention to Obama. And that mention of the Surgeon General, we haven't had time to talk about it, but he nominated a Surgeon General who is against guns and is going to make possession of guns a health care issue. So just become a sophisticated way to confiscate guns from people. And 10 Democrats now are opposed to his nomination. It's not going anywhere. Well, that's it. Don't forget to bow low before God, stand tall before man, stand in the gap, and we are, ladies and gentlemen, fighting a winnable war.